Hello, Sagittarius, and welcome to my channel, Tarot by Gabrielle. This is going to be a general reading for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs, looking at your connection to the person that you are dealing with and needing to learn the most from right now. We'll be looking at all three sides of the connection. We've got your energy toward it, their energy toward it, and the energy in between it. The concept being that there are three sides to every story. So looking at your version of the truth, their version of the truth, and this higher level, unbiased truth in the middle. As always, I've gone ahead and pulled the overall energy for all sides of the connection, but we'll be diving into a different tarot deck for each side as well. Any information on the extended reading or on booking a personal reading with me is in the description box below. All right, Sagittarius, on your side of this connection, you have divine masculine with focus. Oh, the last thing I forgot to mention is that these energies can absolutely be swapped. So if you end up resonating more with the energy over here than to my left, that's totally fine and totally normal. Crosswatch or, vice versa. Just take the messages as they resonate, leave what doesn't. These are general readings, so they're not going to resonate fully for everyone. But okay, on your side of this connection, Sagittarius, you have focus with divine masculine. Now, usually the way that these energies come out is that we're kind of dealing with more the feminine side of the connection and the masculine side, masculine energies over here. That has nothing to do with gender, whether you're male or female, it doesn't matter. We all have divine feminine and masculine energies within us. But what I'm saying through this is that this is alluding to this person's energy. And it's saying that your focus, Sagittarius, has been on their energy. Now, I don't necessarily know if that has been intentional. It could be, you're trying to direct your focus to yourself, but this person, like their energy keeps kind of like overpowering yours in a way. But I do definitely feel like your focus has very much been on this person's energy as of recently. Now, this person has fire with past life. So, this person is a very passionate, intense energy that this person kind of has in according to this connection. This also feels like it's a past life connection, meaning that when you first met this person, it could have been very familiar, very easy. Things just kind of flowed. You felt comfortable. You felt able to be yourself. So this person definitely was meant to appear in your life. Now, in between this connection, we kind of look at that purpose, the purpose of the connection, and what we have is growth with power. So there is definitely an aspect of this connection that's pushing both people to grow. And I also feel like there's kind of this like stepping into your power aspect of this connection that is coming through as well. So interesting overall energies. Let's jump in to see what we are actually dealing with, Sagittarius. All right, this is for Sagittarius' side of the connection to this person. This is for Sagittarius' side of the connection, please. This is for Sagittarius' side of this connection. There's the Knight of Wands. See, you feel very stuck on this. That's what I kind of was feeling. I don't necessarily know if this is like if this connection is currently actively in your life, or if they are, like it feels like you feel stuck in this person's energy, or like their energy is stuck in yours. I don't know. It just feels like you can't like separate that. Maybe there's a lack of boundaries or something of that sort. But this Knight of Wands to me is specifically speaking of vulnerability. I want more on this. More on this Knight of Wands. I don't like the way those came out. More on this Knight of Wands, please. The Ace of Pentacles and the Knight of Pentacles here. So you are slowly but surely kind of getting out of this energy, but I also feel like there's a part of you, you're looking for a new opportunity. I don't necessarily know if this is with this connection or with someone different, but you're slowly headed in that direction with the Knight of Pentacles and the Ace of Pentacles. But yet, it just feels like, you feel stuck. Like you don't, I feel like you've been stuck kind of feeling the same way that you have for a while, and you're having a really hard time breaking out of that. Let's get more for Sagittarius' side of this connection. It's like you're stuck on this person, but I don't necessarily know if you want to be. Sagittarius' side of this connection to this person. The Lovers in reverse with the Two of Wands in reverse. It's like, because there's this Emperor, again, which is speaking of this divine masculine energy, and then you have this Death card. So I do feel like this is a connection that has ended, or I don't know if it has currently ended, like if it has already ended or if you want it to. I don't know, but overall, there's a lot of like overthinking what's going on here. Like I feel like your head's kind of spinning regarding this connection. There's a lot of this person kind of overpowering your energy, but again, like I don't necessarily know if you want them to. It's like you can't stop overthinking this connection. Now, there's a part of you with the Lovers in reverse that's having trouble like seeing your worth and seeing what you're deserving of. And I feel like that's because this connection maybe took your power away a little bit and you're having trouble fully taking it back. And I feel like that's been the most complicating thing for you, is it's like, well, you like maybe you want to move on or you want to move forward at the very least, but it just feels like you can't. Sagittarius' side of the connection to the person they are dealing with. Yeah, there's the Fool. And then there's the Sun. And the Three of Pentacles in reverse with the World on the back of the deck. So you're stuck in a cycle. And you know what? I kind of see that with this growth card here. It just feels like you're like going around and around in circles when it comes to this person. And it's like nothing ever changes. And it just feels like you can't get out. Like you're stuck in this Five of Cups energy. I mean, it's in reverse, which means you're working through it. And it almost feels like you have to work through this to come to some sort of a new beginning. So if you're stuck in an energy right now, it doesn't mean you're going to be stuck in it forever. And it's specifically about this person. Wasn't that a theme in last week's reading? I think it was. It was kind of a theme in last week's reading that you were feeling very stuck in like a sad or like gloomy kind of energy. And you have the Sun with the Three of Pentacles. It's like Three of Pentacles in reverse. It's like things kind of fell apart, I feel like, in this connection. And it just feels like you're waiting for the Sun to return. So I don't necessarily know if it has. I don't think it has. Now, I feel like you're learning a lot with this growth card. Sagittarius' side of this connection to the person they are dealing with. How is Sagittarius feeling about this connection? You know, it doesn't feel like it to you, but I really feel like this is a really good energy for you to be in, because you use the Seven of Pentacles in reverse with the Four of Wands. It's like, it's almost like this connection is causing you to reevaluate what you will and will not tolerate. And usually that's because you have to deal with a lot, right? That's why you have growth and power. Is it kind of feels like this not necessarily took away your power. I don't want to say that, because nothing can really take away our power. We have a tendency to give it away, right? We can give away our power through how other people treat us. That doesn't mean that you're not a victim if you feel like you are. I'm just saying, at the end of the day, we have the ability to take our power back, essentially. And with the Seven of Pentacles in reverse, it's almost like this connection, it puts you in an energy of reevaluating, like almost like, okay, now I know what I'm not going to put up with, or now I know what I don't deserve. Therefore, now I can kind of start to see what I do deserve. Like it just feels like it's good, because it's causing you to really see the truth of, yeah, because there's the Ace of Swords. It's like there's a breakthrough surrounding this. I don't think you've had it yet, but that's almost going to, this sounds very intense, but it feels like it's kind of going to change the trajectory of your life. Like this realization or this breakthrough that you have about yourself through this connection. Now, I feel like this connection put you through a lot. Sagittarius' side of the connection to this person, because yeah, I see this, it's like this focus card, right? You have this focus on this person, but it just feels like you don't want to have this focus on this person, but like you're still dwelling on the way you felt, like the way you feel, like the sadness or the pain associated. But it's not that you're stuck in it, you're just processing through it. And that takes time, But through this processing, it's like you're learning, okay, I deserve better. Like, I don't have to put up with this anymore. Sagittarius' side of this connection to the person they are dealing with. There's the World. This is exactly what I was feeling. So you have this World, the Six of Pentacles in reverse, and the Three of Swords in reverse here. And this Three of Swords in reverse is like healing. It can also be a card of forgiveness, but for me, it's healing, and it's processing your pain, which means feeling it, right? Feeling it, experiencing it, sometimes sitting with it, feeling stuck in it. But it's completing this cycle with the Six of Pentacles in reverse of you accepting less than what you deserve in connections. Because I feel like that's what this was for a long time, was not really seeing your worth and maybe giving more of yourself away than this person was willing to, reciprocate. And we've all been there, right? We all have a tendency to get stuck on people that didn't see our worth, therefore makes us feel worthless. When in reality, other people not seeing our worth has very little, if not nothing, to do with us and everything to do with them. Now, it has to do with us whenever we look at that person's idea of our worth as the true meaning and value of our worth. Because how other people see you doesn't have anything to do with you. We see other people through the lens of our own projection, and be that a good or a bad one. Every good or bad thing we see in another person is a projection of something within us. And if someone else doesn't see your worth or doesn't treat you like you're deserving of, well, that doesn't have anything to do with you. That's that person's inability to not treat people the way that they're deserving, which means they probably don't treat themselves the way they're deserving, or accept love that they're deserving of either. And so what I'm getting at is the cycle that you're breaking is no longer trying to look for your worth in others, therefore accepting less than what you deserve out of the hopes that things change, or that someone changes for you, or someone all of a sudden wakes up one day and sees your value. Because at the end of the day, other people's perception of your value does not matter at all. And it's hard when you're so used to seeing your value in others, right? And sometimes we don't even realize we're doing it. But it's that whole concept behind, like, we chase other people, or we chase certain connections, or we stay in connections waiting for people to change or improve or finally treat us right? Like finally show up for us. And we do that because we think, oh, maybe one day this person will see what they're deserving of, or they'll fear that, they'll finally see what they have to lose, or whatever the case is. And in reality, all we're trying to do is we want that person to see our worth so badly because we feel like that's going to make us feel lovable. And I feel like that has a lot to do with what cycle is being broken here, Sagittarius. That's a really powerful cycle to break. So if you're working through this right now, you should be very proud of yourself. Sagittarius is side of this connection. This reading took me a little bit to get started, but I'm definitely picking up now what's coming through here. So Sagittarius is side of the connection to the person they are dealing with. Now, again, I can't fully tell, and maybe that's because this is a general reading and the situation is going to differ for person to person. I can't tell if this is a situation that has ended, or if this is a situation that you're contemplating ending, or you feel like you need to, or that needs to end in some way. Because you have this Eight of Cups in reverse with the Moon, and then you have this Two of Swords, and then here's this Death in reverse. So it can be like the energy of not wanting things to change, even though they need to, right? Now, at the end of the day, there's this need to walk away from this person's energy, shut the door, leave them behind, because no one deserves to feel this way. Now, I don't necessarily know what this person's energy is toward you yet. We'll see when we dive into it. My guess is not good if this is how they're making you feel. But it's like there's this fear of fully leaving this connection behind for some reason. And whether or not that's a conscious fear, it is a fear that you have. And it's keeping you from making the decision of really, truly choosing yourself. Now, I want to see if I can get any more on this Moon. That's usually what we see more in the purpose of the connection, but let's see if we can look at this Moon card a little bit more. This is the Moon card for Sagittarius' side of this connection. Can we get any more information on this? Yeah, it's what's keeping you holding on. Fear is what's keeping you holding on. Now, I don't necessarily know fear of what fear is or what your certain fear is. But it's almost like you're subconsciously holding on to this in a way. Or consciously, you could be, actively holding on to it. Even though it's not treating you like you deserve. It's not providing you with reciprocal energy. And the healthiest relationships, the ones that are deserving of being in our life, are the ones that are reciprocal, the ones that we both give to and receive from in a equal way. I think that was the biggest thing that I learned between because I've had many toxic relationships in my life, not just romantic, but friendships as well. And the biggest thing I learned between a healthy versus toxic connection is the reciprocation of respect. Because when someone respects you, it means that they see that you are worthy of that respect. And that can come in so many different forms, right? Kind of respecting your emotions, respecting your needs, respecting your boundaries, respecting, just what it is that general human beings are deserving of. And that kind of respect in a relationship comes when someone respects themselves. And if this person doesn't respect themselves, they're not going to be able to respect you, because that's just how it works. We can only meet someone to the extent that we've met ourselves. Now let's get more energy on this person. Let's see what they're dealing with. This is the person that Sagittarius is dealing with, side of the connection to Sagittarius. Past life and fire. The person that Sagittarius is dealing with, side of the connection to Sagittarius, with past life and fire, please. This person's energy for Sagittarius. I don't like the way that they speak to you. Just based on this, the Page of Swords with the Nine of Cups in reverse, it means that they communicate with a very negative energy, very negative connotation to their communication with you, the way they speak to you. Huh. I don't know if it's obvious, though. It feels kind of condescending. Nine of Cups in reverse with the Page of Swords. It's like this, clarifying this message. It's weird that card would be condescending. The Four of Wands here, upright. And then the Seven of Wands in reverse. I want to see something really quick. Because why am I picking up that Nine of Cups in reverse as condescending? I'm not keeping 2 cards for me. These are those additional major arcanas. I didn't want to keep them for the love reading since I want all 3 of these decks to be the same. Let's see. What am I looking at? The Nine of Cups. Sometimes I just feel a need to clarify my own message. I just want to make sure. Yeah, okay, so it's greed, materialism, unrealistic expectations, and boastfulness. And I guess that boastfulness, it just feels very condescending. That's the best way that I can say that. So I guess that fits. Or this unrealistic expectations aspect too. They have unrealistic expectations of you, of people in general, right? Someone should be able to make them happy all the time, or I don't know. I just feel like they don't speak from a very loving place. And I don't really like that for you. Now, with the past life connections, that can also be karmic, right? Karmic past life connections are pretty common. Let's get more for this person's energy towards Sagittarius. It's like reliving a past life lesson in a way. This person's energy towards Sagittarius. The Sun and the Six of Swords. Interesting. Okay. It's not that this person, because they see this connection kind of with the Sun energy. I feel like they see I don't know if it's the potential, or they see the good, but it almost feels like they're not fully able to accept it in a way. Like, I don't, give me just a second. I want more on this sun, because the sun is kind of confusing. It's a confusing message because it's not, it's like they saw themselves, like you bring happiness to them. There's no doubt about that. But it almost feels like they took advantage of it in a way. I want more on this sun. But like, because there's a Queen of Swords in reverse. This is exactly what I was saying. It's like they can't accept it. Now I feel like what that means, because the Queen of Swords in reverse is like a closed off heart. So it's almost like you brought a lot of good to this person's life. Bring a lot of good if it's an active connection. But at the same time, maybe this person's a self-sabotager, right? And so they push away the good things in their life. And I do feel like that has a lot to do with what happened here. Like you're too good for them. Not that I'm saying that you are, because I don't believe that anyone's too good for anyone. It's just like they have this. And remember, when I'm reading, what my goal with my readings, if you haven't heard me say this before, is to read below the surface, tap into that subconscious, the aspects of you that you're not fully aware of and that aren't fully, surface level. And so same thing for this person. It's not like they are aware of that. Maybe they are. They're self-aware. This person's energy to Sagittarius. The Hierophant. The Lovers in reverse. This is interesting. So this person does, like, it's like they recognize that they have this love for you. But because there's that Nine of Cups in reverse again, which was kind of that like condescending energy I was feeling. And that's because they don't feel deserving of accepting. I think they're intimidated by your energy a little bit, Sagittarius. Now, that's just insecurity, right? It's kind of that insecurity of like having to put other people down to feel better about themselves, right? And it comes from them not feeling deserving. So if this person has made you feel bad about yourself in any way, I was kind of saying this before, like it has nothing to do with you. Like at all. Interesting. This person's energy towards Sagittarius. I'm not going to lie, this energy is kind of shocking me a little bit. This person's energy towards Sagittarius. There's the Emperor in reverse. So they definitely have a tendency to be kind of controlling. Like they need control over their material circumstances, and they need control over their material world because they don't feel in control of themselves. It's that classic like you see it in certain people. It's like they don't know how to be vulnerable. So it's like they have to control other people's perception of them, and they have to have control over their surroundings because they don't know how to just like let go and be like who they are. Like and that's just kind of extreme trust issues. But that can come off as manipulative, right? Needing to manipulate or control the people and situations around them in order to feel more in control of themselves. I used to be guilty of this exact energy. Not this person's energy, because I feel like this is a little bit more intense, but of the energy of feeling like I needed to control people, specifically people in relationships, because if I didn't, I felt like things would fail. Like if I didn't have full control over everything going on, I felt like everything would fall apart. And I still struggle with that. that control. So I can definitely have empathy for people that are like that. But it is that classic, like, feeling the need to control other people. And particularly, I feel like this connection, because they didn't have control over themselves. This person's energy to Sagittarius. Yeah, I don't like the way that came out. I want to try that again. This person's energy to Sagittarius. Sometimes it feels like they just fall out instead of come out. If it's supposed to, it will again. See it all the time. All right, this person's energy for Sagittarius. This person's energy for Sagittarius. There's the Judgment. Ooh. It's really important that, because there's the moon in reverse, which I feel like is kind of alluding to this moon card you have here. And then you have the Judgment. This is less talking about their energy and more talking about the way that it affects you, because it feels like there's this need to see the truth of this person's energy toward you. Because as of right now, I feel like you're taking a lot of these qualities that they have very personally. Who wouldn't? We're all humans, right? It's really easy to take other people's actions toward us personally. Instead of looking at this as like, okay, this person's very obviously not a healed person, doesn't really know themselves, doesn't know how to communicate from a place of vulnerability, things to that extent. And that just doesn't have anything to do with you. And it's easy to look at it through the lens of like, why won't they treat me this way? Why didn't they show up for me? How could they do that to me? Like all of these things, you can look at it from a place of like, why me? Why to me? And instead look at it from a place of like, man, that sucks that that person's hurting so much, because hurt people. And the more empathy you have in that way, the more that you can look at everyone as like a little kid just trying their best, just looking to be loved, the more that you can work through the energy of what you're dealing with without feeling like you're like without taking it so personally. And that's hard, right? Especially if you're a victim of emotional abuse, say. It's really hard to look at a person with empathy and be like, man, I feel sorry for them, right? But the more that you can do that, the more you can take your power back from the situation. I hope that's not too triggering of a message. All right, this person's energy for Sagittarius. Strength with the Two of Swords here. I want more on this strength. This person kind of has a bit of what feels like a false sense of confidence. Meaning that they're really confident in the person that their ego presents, but they're not confident in who they really are. I don't feel like this person actually really likes themselves all that much. And that's, I feel like, where the confusion happens, is you're like, no, this person loves themselves. No, they love their ego. People often think that narcissism, and I'm not going to, not trying to diagnose anyone as a narcissist, but, you know, people think that narcissism is like this abundant amount of self-love, when it's absence of self. It's absence of self-love, to the extent that people have to create a personality because they don't actually have one. And and then they fall in love with this unrealistic version of who they think they are, right? And that kind of feels, and that sounds so harsh to say. That's why I kind of laugh there. That sounds so harsh to say, but it just feels like this person really is dealing with like an inflated ego that hurts other people. And again, it's really easy to be like, man, I can't believe that person did that to me. But the more that you're able to shift your perspective and be like, man, I'm glad that I'm getting out of this, or I got out of that, or I got away from that, or I hope that person, heals so they don't hurt other people. Like looking at it through an empathetic, from an empathetic place, and just kind of saying, they're They're doing the best they can with what they have, and that's no excuse for behavior. That's absolutely no excuse for behavior. It's one of my, favorite kind of sayings is let people be who they are and adjust your proximity accordingly, right? And that the more that you can do that, the more that you can say, the way they treated me has nothing to do with me. It has nothing to do with my worth. Because that's why it's so hard, whether you realize it or not, that's why it's so hard to let go of this connection for you, is because you're looking at it from a place of, man, this person really impacted, my sense of self-worth. And it's like, but why? Right? Of course I understand why. And I get trauma bonds and I know how hard it is. So don't think this is me saying like, it's just easy, just walk away, right? Of course not. But the more that you can shift your perspective from a place of judgment to a place of love, the more that you can see things a little bit clearly. There's a book by Gabrielle Bernstein. I'll talk about her a lot on my channel. She's probably my favorite spiritual teacher. She has a book called Judgment Detox. And that book really helps you identify why you have such a hard time letting go of people who've hurt you, because there's certain wounds being triggered by that hurt. And there's the deeper wound that's needing to be healed from, childhood or whatever the case is. And so there's definitely something going on here. So if you're having trouble, if this reading has resonated for you, if you've made it this far in a reading, I recommend that book. It's a very insightful book. But all right, Sagittarius, we're going to hop on over to the extended I Have Growth with Power. We're going to dive into the truth of this. I want to get insight into this fear, or maybe where this lovers in reverse kind of stems from. But any information for that is in the description box below. Thank you so much, as always, for the support of my channel. It does mean the absolute world to me. As always, I hope that this reading helped and resonated with you in a way that you are needing today. And I wish you nothing but love and healing on your journey moving forward. Bye, Sagittarius.